Good morning and Happy New Year. Please excuse my voice. I'm recovering from a cold, which is why I was not online yesterday, last week, I should say. Which is why. What I want to say, I hope everyone's having a Happy New Year. I hope everybody is also able and have not given up on their New Year's resolution. Now, in the last 4 days of the new year, we've experienced a lot. There's a lot going on in the world. And I would be doing an injustice by not actually acknowledging it. Right now, Iran is in turmoil and they are going through, last I checked, and I mean this morning, they're going through a civil war, which is mind blowing to me at my age. Also, Venezuela and the people of Venezuela has been liberated from a dictator who, believe it or not, is in my current city, which is New York City, which I'm debating, and let me know in the comments whether I should even cover this in my other channel, Jolly News with the Loon. To those celebrating, congratulations. I have to say that I feel your joy only as a child when the dictator Baby Doc was taken from Haiti. So, just so you have Americans who are all for you. Now, the gist of this particular weekly brunch, and I know it's a little later, but this does fall upon the time of quote unquote brunch time. I have been doing some city homesteading type things, which caused me to be a little late. My sister called me earlier and we FaceTime, and she noticed that my thumb was wrapped up because I was using a Mandalorian. I think that's what it's called. Correct me if I'm incorrect. Earlier, because New Year's Day for us Haitians is ironically our Independence Day. And to celebrate our Independence Day, we usually celebrate it by, of course, the black eyed peas, which most of us participate in. But we usually have what we call soup jumu, which is our celebration form for New Year's Day, which is Haiti's Independence Day. And in the last couple of years, I have been making soup jumu, at least trying to perfect it. My recipe is not perfected. I do apologize for that because I cheat. I cheat. I use the crock pot. I love my mom. I love my grandma and all the women that came before me, but I'm not standing above a stove all night long, which is literally what they do um, to make the soup. With me going through what I'm going through in the changes, and with also with my pains in the back, there's no way I would have been able to stay up all night standing by a stove in a big old stock pot making this soup. So I couldn't put spaghetti in it. So it's minus the spaghetti. But I did make compensation for it. Now, what back to why I was a little late today. Another part is that you always end up with excess, and part of homesteading is preserving those excess and not letting it go to waste. So I spent the day, I got a special dice Mandalorian, which I'll probably do a vlog on it, device that I got from Amazon, where I made diced carrots. I slice my leeks, I slice my scallions, slice my potatoes, and today I was making homemade potato chips. Um, Also, I was slicing anything that I had over to put in the freezer, put in freezer safe Ziploc bags. And this is something, if you want to start saving money in the in this year, is a thing to do is start looking into saving your excess and either freezing it or canning it. As I mentioned, right now I'm not in the position to sit down and stand over big stock canning, so I do a lot of freezing also. I cannot afford a freezing dehydrator, so I find other ways to freeze things. That's for another video. So, as I mentioned, it's a new year, and most of us are in the point of new year, new me resolution time. And I did this for Buddy Check last year because it's important. Well, last month, which is last year. And I think it's important for the weekly brunch for us to discuss this because with the changing world, there is a lot of new year, new me, and a lot of things we want to do to improve our life situations. So we're going to go ahead and look at what the new you, which I don't like this term, but we're going to go ahead and discuss this. What does this term mean? This is a popular phrase for personal reinvention, signifying goals and self-improvement like healthier eating and breaking habits. Please excuse me. My throat, like I said, I am recovering from a horrible cold, and my voice is not what it used to be, but hopefully I could nurse it back to health. Which basically most of us see as a fresh new start. It's a new way of motivating ourselves to improve. This is why I don't like the term new year, new me. I prefer the term new year, better me. But we'll touch that later. Motivation. This is your motivation to be who you know you could be, what you know you can accomplish, which also makes us go back to our historical roots of how we got here prior to our even existence, before we were even a gleam in our mommy's and daddy's eyes. Now, I have to touch upon a bit of the pitfalls. I'm going to remove that right there. A bit of the misfalls that we have. Now, depending, and this is what causes us to not keep up with our New Year's resolutions. It could be a bit overwhelming because, unfortunately, due to society and now social media, we expect everything to happen instantaneously. And you got where you are now, not instantaneously. It took time. So it's going to take time to become the person that you know that you can be, which messes with our minds. It's because, and when I say it messes with our minds, it's our human nature. If it doesn't happen automatically, we tend to believe that there's something wrong with us. There's nothing wrong with you. You just have to learn patience. You just have to learn to keep the motivation going, stability of keeping it going because you know what you are worth. Don't let anybody tell you anything different. You know what you are worth, and that is why you even decided to go on this journey. Now we are 4 days into the new year, so it brings me to the next step, which is the marketing trap. How many of us has already decided to give up on the gym membership you went to? How many of you have paid for a detox, which actually, to tell you the truth, all it takes is buying a book. Unfortunately, it's too far for me. I have plenty of books on detoxing, on getting things done, the marketing traps, even something that I like to do a lot, which is journaling, and I'll touch on that a little bit later. I don't know how it came into my algorithm on YouTube, but the last 4 or 5 days, I've been hit with so many books, not books, but videos on different types of journaling, which I was just speaking to my sister this morning. Oh, and I was telling her I was surprised that I have been journaling since 2004 consistently. Prior to that, I've been journaling, but it's been here or there. But consistently, I have been. And I'll break down my journaling concept, which which blew me away with these videos that I reached that reached me, I should say, that shows that what I have been doing for years and I thought was considered quote unquote odd has become a quote unquote fad. All right. Now, your main goal when it comes to this now is how can I make my New Year's resolution the better me, not new me. That's why I have a question mark at the end of it. The better me into a reality. Well, first thing you have to do is forget about this idea of doing an extreme overhaul. We are human and it takes time to get things done because it took time for you to be where you are, where you want this change. And the change didn't happen overnight. The change did not happen all of a sudden. It happened slowly. So the improved you, the better you, is going to occur by making small changes in your life. I've been making small changes in the last 4 years and change. Little by little. What do I mean? I never was a gardener, but I wanted to produce my own food due to the epidemic that we went through a couple of years back. Because at one point, if you don't have a laundry in where you live, you relied on public laundromats. So, what I learned really quick during that epidemic time is that I needed a way to do laundry in an efficient way. So, I got a little mechanism, and I'll probably do a gadget video later on what gadgets I use or I keep around just in case. I had to learn to do laundry because I was considered essential during that time. So I had to go to work and laundromats were closed. So you have that. Then another small change that I've done through the years is my eating habits. I tend to be overweight, going through perimenopause, which hit all of a sudden. And I say all of a sudden, and it hit all of a sudden because due to the neglect to the years prior. I had to change my life. I started gardening. Gardening causes you have excess food. So I had to learn to preserve food. Little changes. So I had to teach myself how to can. Now I'm moving to freezing food and other ways of preserving food and shopping in a pantry instead of going straight to the supermarket instead. So I say this to emphasize that it takes small changes in your life to become the better you. The next thing is focus on who you want to become. You just can't make changes thinking, oh, this is going to save me pennies. This is going to make me a better person. No. What type of better person do you want to be? Most of us want to be responsible, self sustaining people. So, your goals, your New Year's resolution should focus that by making those small changes. And the lastly on this one is don't look at this as overcoming your bad habits. That's too much pressure. Look at this as improving on how those bad habits have affected you and how you could flip them into good habits. If you look at it that way, we go back to the first part of this slide, which is getting rid of an extreme overhaul. And as slowly as you got to this point, slowly getting to the point of where you know you could be. Okay? Now, this goes back to journaling. I actually transcribe my old journals, and this will make sense when I get to the journaling part. I thought 4 years ago when I came to this new job and I started my new life that this concept was new. I realized this concept was introduced to me back in 2018. A little brief history about me. 2018, I was at my lowest. When I mean at my lowest, it was the first time I was ever fired in my life. Usually, I'm the one who leaves the establishment for something better, what I believe was to be better and better for me. And as I hit my low at that time in trying to get my life back together, I was introduced to this SMART. Now, SMART is a way to set goals. How you break this down and make it useful for you is how you do it. How I did it is I journaled it, and I used each letter of SMART to help me along the way. Specific. Be specific about the goal that you want to tackle. I want to make more money, for example. That's not specific enough. I want to be able to save money and have extra for my hobbies. Okay, we've got it down to a little bit more specific. Let's go a little bit more down. I want to be able to manage my money better. Wow. There we go. You have gotten down to the specific. M, measurement. How are you going to measure your short time accomplishments while hitting this goal? First, I'm going to list, better yet, I'm going to create a budget. A budget is the best way to measure your income. I'm going to list what my monthly expenses are. Then on top of that, I'm going to list my debt. Because if you're starting with budget and you want to manage your money better, you're already in debt, which is why you're having problems managing your money. and ending up with zero at the end of the month. Then achievable. You're going to make points for yourself which goals are achievable. Okay, a achievable goal. I have constructed a doable budget. I have set up a payment plan with all my debts. It's achievable. It's doable. It's something that if you're serious, you're going to stick to. Relevant. What makes this relevant? My quality of life is going to be better. I will have savings for when I have those unpredictable times that comes up. And anything else you could come up when it comes to budget. And the last one is time bound. What is your time limit to hit your goal, your specific goal? That's going to vary. Some people's going to be like on a month to month basis. Some people are, depending on your paycheck, is even going to go as far as to say on a week to week basis. Whatever works for you is what works. Now, how can you make this work? Please excuse me one moment because this was into, and you'll understand in a few moments why this is taking two. Okay, making it work. How do you make it work? Now it's easy to get self-absorbed in reaching your goal. But part of it is showing self-compassion. This has several different reasons. One, it keeps you from being self-absorbed in your own world, which can easily happen. Second, it opens the door. It opens the door to those that have been in your situation, going through your situation, and trying to make through, to share what they have done to make themselves successful in reaching that goal. Now, it may or may not apply to you, but it's always good to have input and a very wise decision to have somebody who's been through it to share their experiences with you. Now, you may not want to follow their steps, but one, you're not alone. Two, 9 times out of 10, you're speaking to someone who has been there, done that, and is willing to share their trials and tribulations with you so you don't go through the trials and tribulations. And it's always a motivating factor in any aspect that you look at it. Another thing you could do to make it work is find an accountability partner. Usually it might be a significant other, it might be a best friend, or even a casual friend that has been through this, that has turned around and said, hey, I've been through this. I've been through some ups and downs, and I want you to succeed. So let me share my story with you, and I will travel with you as long as you want me to be on this journey with you. Having a partner during a journey like this, any of the goals you try to hit, is always awesome. I'm going to use an example in this aspect. Most people decide this is when they want to lose weight. This is when they want to start eating healthy, be healthy. Well, 9 times out of 10, that skinny person at work that you're envious of, or you're like, damn, I wish I had that metabolism, that doesn't have that metabolism, would be more than happy to help you reach your goal. You go to a gym, and I've seen it left and right, where people go to a gym and they are doing the exercise wrong. And for a few minutes, a person who's been there, done that, comes up and say, hey, let me show you how to use this right. You're doing it wrong. This is what you need to do to get the full impact that you're looking for by using this device. An accountability partner will be there with you. They could be on the same scale as you, or they could be past you, but willing to pay it forward. This is the next one. Very important. Always keep this in the forefront of your mind. Don't look for instant perfection. It's not going to happen. You're not going to wake up tomorrow after doing those 10 or 1 push-up that you're going to have those those ribbed age. You're not going to end up with that 6-pack. You're not even going to end up with that 4-pack after 20 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute of a workout that totally wiped you out. Put that out of your mind. It's not going to happen. Just the same way you had to put your work in at school to get those, A grades, B grades that you got, even those C grades. The goal that you hit is going to take time. There's no shortcuts to getting there. There's no benefit for it to happen overnight. Put it in your mind. It's going to take time. I've gained weight, but back in, I would say 2016, 2017, I went on a goal to lose weight, and I did hit my ideal mark. Consistency was the plan, and I did not do that. But I didn't start that journey on the first of the month of the year. I did it on the second. And within 2 to 3 months, I was too beside myself by how quickly, after a month of hard work and literal sweat, that I got to that point. I was so happy, but I understood that it wasn't instant. I got a personal trainer. I did go through that way. And even my personal trainer was like, listen, it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take time. And like he said, it took time. But when it came off, it came off quickly. But then it wasn't consistent. Second, focus on small daily improvements. What do I mean? Going to bed early is a small daily improvement. Pick a time every night that you want to go to bed. And no matter what, stop your scrolling on social media, stop watching your videos, and turn off the TV. Put your phone on sleep mode and get some sleep. Set up your morning. Small daily improvements. If you want to go for a walk and morning is the best time for you, get up the allotted time it will take you to get up earlier than you normally would, to take that time to do your exercises. Go out for the walk if it's not too cold for you, and make those subtle changes. Eventually, if you keep it up, they will become habits. Progress over perfection. We all have in our heads the ideal manner that things will happen. Get rid of that ideal. Take it one day at a time, one moment at a time, 1 minute at a time. And you'll see improvement quicker than you think. Kindness. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to those who's going through the journey. What's that saying? You catch more bees with honey than vinegar. You reach your goals by being sweet to yourself and kind to yourself and others as you go on this journey. And this is what this is. This is a journey for yourself. Focus on identity. Never forget the end goal, but also never forget what got you here. There's pluses and there is minus. And as a society, we tend to focus too much on the negative. Flip your mindscape. Focus on the positivity. You got through whatever trials and tribulations in the past due to the positivity, either in your mind or even the positivity that others have provided for you. And lastly, be specific. Be specific on what you and where you want to go. And never lose sight of that. Make it a habit. Make it your daily intention, whether you're doing the practices or not, to do and remind yourself of what you need to do to get there. And remember, if you do this on a daily basis, it's consistent, and consistency is key. If you do it every day for at least 21 days, it becomes a habit. And a habit just takes off after that. If it becomes a habit through consistency, it becomes the norm and it's not a chore. Improvement for you is not a chore. Now, you always have to practice retrospection. Definition of retrospection is the top one right here. The action of looking back on or reviewing past events or situations, especially those in one's own life. How did you get here? What caused you to want to make this change? Which habits do you want to get rid of? It's real easy. You want to make a change to lose weight. What got you here? Laziness, procrastination, overeating. Different reasons causes this. And those are the habits you want to, if not get rid of, minimize. Which habits do you want to develop? I can't even use examples on that because it's different for every person. You want to learn quicker. You want to be more, practice gratitude more. You want to be more kind. You want to be more proficient. Think about it. What habits for this change do you want to develop? Because those habits are your habits to success. How do you plan on getting there? Most people have this drawn out, I'm going to do this and I'm going to get this done. The only plan that you should have for getting there is changing your daily habits. So, although I phrase this question as how do you plan on getting there? It should be actually, what do I plan on incorporating in my life to make this a reality? What steps do you have to take to get to your goals? That goes to the prep. What steps do you need to get? What steps do you need to make a habit to make your goal reachable and a reality? It's all about you. It's all about making a better you. And making a better you means being kind to yourself, setting your goals, making creating, I should say, good habits on a daily basis. Last night, I was doing the one thing I shouldn't have been doing, was strolling through YouTube, and I reached a video of a gentleman who he's an ex-ranger. He comes off as fanatical, which most people think he goes to the extreme, but his enthusiasm is what David Godfrey, I think is his name. His enthusiastic and his approach almost seems obsessive. And he may be a bit much for most people, but if you step back and look at it, he's not meant for most people. He's meant for himself. And he took the time and effort to share his struggles of what he does to get his goals reached. Now, the person I saw the video, I think it was a couple of years. It was during the pandemic. So the person wanted to emulate his morning routine, which I'm going to tell you, I want to get in shape. And this past year, I've been through so many physical challenges on a normal, lazy basis that I wouldn't even think about doing it. But it was a lesson. One, someone's journey is not your journey. Emulating their exact journey is not going to get you to hit your goal. But in the same sentence, incorporating their motivation, their mentality, and their approach might help you reach a goal that's feasible for you. I say this because during this, and I already knew this being ex-military, the person wanted to start off by running a half marathon at 3 o'clock in the morning, just like he does. Eating the breakfast he does. Now, that's the wrong way to go about a better you. Because one, you're coming from you're approaching it as there is a cookie cutter formula for it. And that's not how it works. And that's what you need to realize to reach your goals. There is no cookie cutter aspect to reaching your goals. There's motivation that you could take. And this is another thing you may want to practice in this new year. There are ways that work for others that don't work for us. But there is a concept behind it that may help you discover a way that works for you. So he did a quarter of what David Gosling did. And during this, he kept throwing up. And then I stopped watching after he decided to emulate his eating habits for breakfast. And I bring this up because a lot of people's goals is to lose weight. And before the turn of the year, I've seen a lot of videos come up on my timeline, whether on X, Facebook, or YouTube, that showed people last January, literally a year ago, who were twice the size as I am. I'm overweight, and I would be considered obese. And just by consistency, they did the before and after. And a lot of people show their trials between. Now, it's a motivation. So what motivates you? What can get you there? A couple of years back, at least I tried to practice the either video or picture in my progress. Every day, same time of the day, took a picture or made a video of where I am. And it showed. Now, this is important. This is a very important um, practice because it shows that it's a time lapse for you. It removes you from the instant gratification to the every day I'm reaching closer to my goal. You may not see it, but others will see it. I remember when I was trying to lose weight back in 2016, 2017, and I was looking at myself every day, and I didn't think I was going anywhere. This is why having a partner to go through this trip with you is very important. And I thought I wasn't moving. And one day, I guess I skipped a day. And then I looked in the mirror and I was like, holy crap, who is this person? I'm partway through the goal I wanted to reach. Don't cut yourself short. And especially, don't give up on you. It's a new year, and you could be a better you. You have to change your mindset, and you have to change your approach. Now, I did speak of journaling. And normally I would say, I'm going to link all the videos for journaling on my bio. There's too many videos to put in there, and I can't do it justice. So you're going to just have to do a search on Google or a search on YouTube to find out the different ways people journal. But I can share this with you. Back in 2004, this is when I separated from my ex-husband, and I was going through a traumatic stage. And of course, going through therapy. And my therapist suggested that I journal. Then you have the question, because I'm a Virgo. I'm a Virgo Libra cusp, but I'm a Virgo at all. And I'm like, if I journal everything, I won't experience life. But I did start journaling back then. And I wrote down my thoughts and everything else. But then I learned, as I progressed through the years, that everything I learned is worth journaling, whether it's for work, whether it's personal growth, whether it's a learning thing that I decide to take on. So I put everything in a learning log. Unfortunately, the learning log is usually big. I mean, everybody who knows me, and the best gifts people give me for birthday and Christmas is usually an embellished, beautiful journal, which doesn't even last a month. I'm not going to lie. It does not last a month, but it is beautiful. But then it becomes an expense to keep that up. So I use composition books for my learning log. Like these like something like this. And that's where I put my learning log. Now, as I developed, I decided to carry a little, let's see if I could get it. Pardon me. A miniature composition book to write down the thoughts that, as I'm walking, standing on the subway platform or on a train, on a bus, thoughts that comes through. Now, I found out recently, due to my algorithms on YouTube, that there are people who use what they call flex notes. And it's nice, but I'm on a budget. And most of you who start this will probably be on a budget. So these mini composition books, which is, I guess, college ruled, which is what I prefer. You could get them at the dollar store, Walmart, Target, Amazon. You can get them at Amazon by the box, which I have. And you just carry it and you make notes. Now, recently, the last, I say mid-month of last year, I have decided that I'm not reading enough and I want to read. So what I did was I have little notebooks like this, nothing fancy, inexpensive. I get them on a subscription with Amazon on a monthly basis. So every month I get a new one to keep up with the books I read. Now, I also read more than one book at a time. Sorry, that's my Virgo, Libra, cuss attitude type. So every book I read goes into that and I make my notes. And at the end of the day, well, for that one, it doesn't go into my learning log. They are separate. But as for the mini ones or any notes I make goes into my learning log. I carry, this is another thing I do. I carry these little notepads to make notes throughout the day. And what I want to focus on learning is put down. Now, there are fancy ways that people do that online. I'm not into cutting out, I'm not into scrapbooking, which is a wonderful hobby if you're into it. But I'm not into scrapbooking. I'm not into cutting images and putting them in there or copying the pictures. But there are different methods. So you could, like I said, do a search on YouTube and find out. But these are little things. And I was laughing with my sister earlier this morning how I thought I was quirky in my habit and how I journal and how I keep notes and everything else. And people have made it embellish. They've embellished it to the point where it's a beauty. And I feel kind of cheated because I was hiding those things. But this is something that could help you along your journey. Another thing about journaling your journey. And like I said, you could take a composition book. You could get it as little as $1.25 now as at the Dollar Tree for a composition book. First of all, when you're doing that, it's for you. And second of all, later on you could look and you could find motivation by you, by seeing the trials and tribulations that you went through and the trials and tribulations that you overcome. So I want to leave by saying, in this new year, it's not a new you, because a new you implicates there's something wrong with you. And there is nothing wrong with the experiences that you've been through and what created and developed you to the person that you are now. The reason you want the change is not to erase that. The reason that you want the change is to be a better you. And journaling will show you the trials and tribulations that you have overcome in your handwriting that can make a better you possible. So on that note, I'm going to say Happy New Year. I welcome you for who you are, and I welcome you who you want to be. It takes reading. It takes research. It takes documentation, if anything, for your knowledge. But don't give up on you. Do everything in your power to be a better, more productive, and happier you. On that note, I will see you next week. I think I will be on a podcast. If you're into the cult, by an old friend of mine, Nick. I will put the link on this for you to check out later. It should be this Wednesday. I just have to check my schedule. But if not, I will in the future be joining on there and sharing more of my spiritual background and opinions there. So keep an eye out on this channel. I'll let you know. Until next time. In New York, it's a beautiful sunny day. I think Venezuela is still celebrating. In Iran, the people of Iran, I hope soon you will have that same celebration. And in New York, please pray for us. That's all I have to say. Till next week, I'll see ya. This is Salome.